You are tired in a way that sleep does not seem to reach anymore, my child. Not the ordinary tiredness that a good night mends. A deeper kind. The kind that has settled into your bones over years of getting up early and lying down late. Of pushing through when you had nothing left. Of carrying loads that never seemed to lighten, no matter how hard you pulled. You are weary all the way down, in a place rest does not seem to touch. And you have been for a long time. And what makes it heavier is this: you have so little to show for it. You have worked and worked and worked, and somehow you are not ahead. The harder you run, the more the ground seems to move under you, so that all the running only keeps you in the same place. You pour yourself out, and the bills swallow it. And the next thing breaks, and the gap never closes. And you are left wondering what all that labor was even for. You are not lazy. No one could call you lazy. You are exhausted from a fight that never seems to pay off. And that particular exhaustion, the weariness of working so hard for so little, is one of the most discouraging weights a person can carry. So set down your tools for a moment, not forever, just for the length of these words. Let the running stop. Let the striving rest, and sit down here with me, the one who has watched every early morning and every late night, and who has never once mistaken your tiredness for weakness. I have seen all of it, my child. I want you to know that first, before anything else, because I think part of what wears on you is the fear that it has all gone unseen. I saw the mornings you got up before the light, when your body begged for one more hour, and you rose anyway because something or someone depended on you. I saw the nights you stayed up late, doing what had to be done when everyone else was asleep. I saw you eat what my word calls the bread of sorrows, the meals taken quickly and anxiously, with one eye on the clock and the other on the bills, never quite able to rest and enjoy even your own table. None of it was hidden from me. I was awake through every one of those early mornings and late nights, watching a child of mine labor with more faithfulness than anyone around them ever fully knew. And I have watched the cruel arithmetic of it, the way you take one step forward and the world takes two back. You finally get a little ahead. You build up a small cushion, and then the car breaks, or the bill comes, or the emergency arrives, and it is all swept away in an afternoon, and you are back where you started, or further behind. You get a small raise, and the cost of everything rises to swallow it before you ever feel it. You do everything right. You save, you scrimp, you go without, and still the gap will not close, because something is always there to undo your progress just as you make it. That is not the same as failing, my child, though it can feel like failing. It is the exhaustion of running uphill on ground that keeps sliding back. And I have seen how it wears the hope right out of a person. And I know that you have begun to wonder, in your most tired and discouraged moments, whether the problem is you. Everyone else seems to manage. Others seem to keep their heads above water without this constant struggle. And so a quiet shame has crept in alongside the weariness. A sense that if it is this hard for you and not for them, you must be doing something wrong, must be lacking something they have. Set that shame down, my child. You do not see the hidden struggles behind other people's calm faces. and you do not know the advantages some of them were handed that you never were. The steepness of your particular road is not a verdict on your worth or your wisdom. You have been climbing a harder hill than most, with less help, and the fact that you are still climbing at all is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of a strength most people will never be asked to find. And I know the discouragement that has crept in, the quiet question that has started to haunt the work. What is the point? You used to believe that if you just worked hard enough, things would come together, that the effort would add up to something. And it has not, or not the way you hoped. And so a kind of hopelessness has begun to seep into the labor itself. You still do the work because you must, but the heart has gone out of it. Because it feels like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You are tired, not only in your body, but in your spirit. Tired of trying. Tired of hoping the next push will be the one that finally lifts you. I understand that weariness, my child. The weariness that goes deeper than muscle, all the way into hope. And I know what the years of it have done to your body. The labor has left its marks. The aches that have settled in and stopped leaving. The joints and the back that complain now. The deep fatigue that a weekend no longer mends. You have spent your body like a coin on this work, paying it out year after year, and it is wearing thin. And some nights, you lie awake feeling the cost of it in your very bones. I formed that body, my child, and I see what the long labor has asked of it. And it grieves me to see one of mine wearing themselves down to the thread. And here is a sorrow tucked inside the labor that may be the sharpest of all. So much of your work has been for the people you love, and the work has left you too tired to enjoy them. You labor to provide for them, and the providing eats the very hours and the very energy you wanted to spend with them, so that you are exhausted in the presence of the people you are exhausting yourself for. You meant the work to be an act of love, and somewhere it became a thief, stealing you from the ones you were laboring to bless. I see that ache, the strange grief of being worn out in service of a love you can no longer feel because you are too tired to feel anything. It is one of the cruelest tricks of a life lived on the treadmill, and I do not make light of it. And I know the comparing makes it worse. You see others who seem to have it easier, who got further with less effort, who never had to scrape and strain the way you have. And the unfairness of it sits on your chest. You did everything right, or close to it. You worked harder than they did, and still they are ahead and you are not. And there is no satisfying answer for why. And the not knowing why grinds on you. I am not going to give you a tidy explanation tonight for why the road has been so much steeper for you than for some. But I am not going to pretend it has not been steep either. It has. I saw the hill you have been climbing, and I know it was real, and I know it was heavy. And underneath it all, I know the fear that whispers when you are most tired, that maybe it will always be this way, that you will work like this until the day you cannot work anymore, and still never get ahead, never rest, never reach the place where the striving finally eases. That fear, that the treadmill never stops, is its own exhaustion. And I want to speak directly into it tonight, gently, because there are things I can do for a weary worker that no amount of working harder ever could. So let me start with the most freeing thing I know. the thing that can take the crushing weight off the work itself. My word says, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Hear what I am telling you, my child, because it is not a rebuke, it is a relief. You have been trying to build your whole life by the strength of your own two hands, carrying the entire weight of whether it all holds together, as though it depended on you alone, as though if you stopped striving for one moment, the whole thing would collapse. And that is a weight no human being was made to carry. It is too heavy, because it was never meant to be yours alone. The building of your life was always meant to be a thing we do together. You and I, with me as the one who actually makes it stand. You have been laboring as though you were the builder and the foundation and the keeper of the walls all at once. Let me be those things. Do your part, the honest work in front of you, and then let me carry the part that was always mine, the holding of it all together. You were never meant to be the one keeping the whole city through the night by yourself. Think of what a watchman's life is, standing on the wall through the long dark, never able to fully rest, straining his eyes against every shadow, because he believes that if he closes them for one moment, the whole city could be lost. That is how you have been living, my child. You have made yourself the lone watchman of your entire life, convinced that your constant vigilance is the only thing holding back disaster, that you cannot rest because everything depends on your never resting. But my word says, the watchman wakes in vain if I am not the one keeping the city. Your exhausting vigilance was never what kept your life from falling apart. I have been keeping it the whole time. The nights you lay awake worrying did not hold anything together that I was not already holding. So you may come down off the wall, my child. The city has another keeper, one who actually never needs to sleep, and he has been on watch all along. And hear the next line, because it is for you specifically. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Do you hear the tenderness in that? I am not impressed by your exhaustion. I do not love you more for the sleep you have lost. The anxious, grinding, around-the-clock striving, eating the bread of sorrows is not the price of my care, and it is not what I ask of you. What I want to give you, my beloved, is sleep, rest. The deep ease of a child who knows the house is being held by someone stronger. I give my beloved sleep, not because they have stopped working, but because they have stopped carrying what was never theirs to carry. Let me give you that. Lay the weight of the outcome down and sleep. If something in you is loosening, even a little as I say this, my child, do not let it tighten back up the moment the work resumes tomorrow. If it would steady you to hear this again on the next bone-tired night when the striving will not let you rest, you are welcome back here as many times as you need it. I will not ask you for anything. I have nothing to sell a weary worker. I only want to keep reminding you, until you believe it, that you do not have to hold the whole weight alone. Keep this close. Now let me speak to the part of you that feels unseen. because I think that wound is deep. Long ago, I spoke to a people who felt exactly as you feel, worn out and overlooked. And they said to me, "My way is hid from the Lord. My cause is passed over by my God." They believed their struggle had gone unnoticed, that all their labor and hardship had escaped my attention. And do you know how I answered them? Not with a scolding, but with a question meant to lift their eyes. Have you not known? Have you not heard? That the everlasting God, the Creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. I never grow tired, my child. I never need the sleep you need. I am awake at every hour you are awake, and through every hour you finally sleep. And I have not missed one moment of your labor. Your way is not hid from me. Your struggle has not been passed over. I have seen all of it. And then I made them a promise, the same one I make to you tonight. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Notice who faints in that promise. Even the young and strong. The ones running on their own power fall down exhausted. But the ones who wait on me, who lean their tiredness against my strength instead of their own, are given a strength that is not their own to spend, a renewal that comes from outside themselves. I am not asking you to find more strength inside yourself. I know that well is dry. I am offering you mine. Wait on me, lean on me, and I will lift you the way the wind lifts an eagle, so that you rise, not by the frantic beating of your own tired wings, but by a power that holds you up and carries you. That is the only kind of strength that does not run out, because it was never yours to run out of. And notice the eagle, because I chose that picture on purpose. An eagle does not climb the sky by frantically flapping harder than every other bird. It climbs by spreading its wings and letting the rising current of warm air lift it, soaring higher and higher on a power it is not generating itself. That is the strength I am offering you, not a way to flap harder, to grit your teeth and squeeze more effort out of a body that has none left. A way to spread your tired wings and be carried by a strength outside yourself. To rise on my power instead of spending the last of your own. You have been trying to fly by flapping, my child, and you are exhausted because that was never how I made you to soar. Stop flapping, spread your wings. Let me be the wind beneath them. And to the fear that all your labor has been wasted, that it added up to nothing, hear this, because it matters more than you know. God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love. I do not forget, my child. The world may forget your labor. The people you poured yourself out for may forget it. The bills certainly forget it the moment they are paid. But I do not. Every act of love-soaked work, every sacrifice you made for the people you care for, every hard thing you did faithfully when no one was watching, is written down and kept by a God who is too just to forget it. You may feel you have nothing to show for your years of labor, But that is only because you are looking at the wrong ledger. There is another accounting kept in heaven, where not one of your faithful, exhausting, unrewarded labors of love has been lost. It is all there. It is all remembered. And I am not unjust enough to let it go unhonored in the end. Let me say this as plainly as I can, because I want it to reach the discouraged place in you. A faithful labor is never wasted in my economy, even when it produces nothing the world can see. The mother who poured out her years on children who may never thank her. The worker who did honest work for an employer who never noticed. The one who carried a family on their back through hard times that left no monument behind, only survival. Only the quiet fact that everyone made it through because of them. The world has no category for that kind of labor, no prize for it, no ledger that counts it. But I do. I keep a perfect record of every unseen, unrewarded, faithful work of love. And there is coming a day when that record is read aloud, and you will discover that the labor you thought amounted to nothing was, all along, building something eternal that you simply could not see from where you stood. Let me tell you about a man who worked hard for years and kept getting cheated, so you will know I understand this exact grief. His name was Jacob. He fell in love and agreed to work 7 years to marry the woman he loved. And he labored those 7 long years. And at the end of them, he was deceived and given the wrong bride. So he worked another 7 years for the one he loved. 14 years of hard labor. And even after that, the man he worked for kept changing the terms on him, kept moving the goalposts. Jacob said of him, with the weariness of every cheated worker who ever lived, "He hath deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times. Imagine the discouragement of that, working, and watching the reward keep slipping away. The rules keep changing. The payoff keep receding just as you reached for it. If anyone knew what it was to labor hard and never seem to get ahead, it was Jacob. But I was watching the whole time. I saw every year of that unfair labor. And in the end, in my own timing and my own way, I did not let his faithfulness go unrewarded. I blessed the work of his hands. I multiplied what he had. And they brought him out of that long season of being cheated into a place of provision and into the fulfillment of everything I had promised him. I do not tell you this to promise you will get rich, or that next year your circumstances will turn. I will not make you a promise I did not make. I tell you so you will know that I see the cheated worker, the one who labors and watches the reward slip away, and that I am not indifferent to that injustice, and that I am able, in my time, to bring a faithful laborer out of even the longest season of toil without reward. And mark the timing of it, because it matters. I did not rescue Jacob in his 1st year, or his 5th, or even his 14th. The deliverance came after a very long time of labor that looked, from the inside, like it was going nowhere. For years he could have said, and surely did say, that all his work was for nothing, that he would never get ahead, that the man over him would cheat him forever. He could not see what I was doing in those long years, but I was doing it all the same, quietly, underneath the apparent futility, preparing a deliverance he could not yet perceive. So when your own labor feels like it is going nowhere, when the years pile up and the reward keeps receding, do not conclude that I am absent or that nothing is happening. I was most at work in Jacob's life in exactly the years that felt the most fruitless to him. I may be doing the same in yours. There is another picture I want to give you, of tired hands and an empty net. Some fishermen had worked all night, casting and pulling, and caught nothing at all. In the morning, bone-tired and discouraged, with nothing to show for the whole exhausting night, one of them said, "Master, we have toiled all the night and have taken nothing." There is the whole weariness of your life in one sentence. Toiled all the night and have taken nothing. But then he said 5 more words that changed everything. "Nevertheless, at thy word, I will let down the net." He let me into the labor that had been fruitless, and the nets came up so full they began to break. I do not promise you that tomorrow your nets break with abundance. That is not the point of the picture. The point is this: there is a difference between toiling all night in your own strength and letting me into the work. Bring me your empty net, my child. Bring me the labor that has felt fruitless. Let me into it. I can do things with your tired work that your tired work alone never could. And notice when I showed up, in the morning, after the failure, when the nets were empty and the men were exhausted and certain the night had been wasted. I did not come while the catch was good and the work was going well. I came to the place of fruitless labor and discouragement, to the men who had nothing to show for a whole night's effort. And it was there, in the very emptiness, that I did my work. So do not think your fruitless seasons disqualify you from my help, or that I only come to those whose labor is already succeeding. The empty net, the wasted night, the discouraged worker at dawn. That is exactly the scene I love to enter. Your emptiness is not a reason I will stay away. It is often the very thing that invites me in. So here is how I would have you carry your labor now, my child, in the days ahead. Because I do not only want to comfort your weariness, I want to change the way you carry the load, so it stops crushing you. First, do your work, but stop carrying the outcome. There is the part of the labor that is yours, showing up, working honestly, doing the next thing in front of you with diligence. Do that part, and do it as unto me. But the outcome, whether it all comes together, whether you get ahead, whether the building stands, that part was never yours to carry. And trying to carry it is what is crushing you. Hand me the outcome. Build your part, and let me keep the city. You will be astonished how much lighter the same work becomes when you are no longer also carrying the weight of the result. Picture 2 people doing the exact same labor. One believes that everything depends on them, that if the outcome is not good enough, it is proof of their failure. And so they carry not only the work, but the unbearable weight of the result on top of it, and they are crushed. The other does the very same work, with the same diligence, but has handed the outcome to me, trusting that their job is faithfulness and mine is provision. And so they carry only the work itself, and they can rest at night. Same labor, 2 completely different burdens. The difference is not how hard they work, it is what they insist on carrying. You have been carrying both loads, the work and the outcome, for so long that you have forgotten the outcome was never yours to lift. Set it down. Do your work faithfully and leave the results, the provision, the getting ahead, to the one whose job that always was. Second, take the sleep I am offering you. I mean this almost literally. My child, stop eating the bread of sorrows. Stop the around-the-clock striving that is wearing your body and your spirit to nothing. Rest is not laziness. Rest is trust. When you lie down and let go and sleep, you are preaching to your own anxious heart that the world does not depend on you alone. That there is a God who does not sleep, keeping watch while you finally do. Give yourself permission to rest. It is not only allowed, it is a gift I am holding out to you, and refusing it does not make you more faithful, only more tired. Third, wait on me for the strength you do not have. You have been running on your own power, and your own power is spent. That is why you feel as you do. So stop trying to squeeze more out of an empty well. Come to me at the start of the day, and the middle of it, and the end, and lean your weariness against my strength, and let me renew you. The strength you need to keep going is not going to come from gritting your teeth harder. It is going to come from waiting on me, the way a tired bird waits to catch the rising wind. Lean and rise. Fourth, redefine what counts as fruit. You have been measuring your life by one ledger only, the one that counts what you have gotten ahead by, what you have to show in money and security. And by that ledger, you feel you have failed. But that was never the only accounting, or the truest one. The love you poured into your work, the people you carried, the faithfulness you kept when it would have been easier to quit, the character that was forged in you by the very hardness of the road. All of that is fruit, real and lasting fruit, written in a ledger that does not get emptied by the next bill. Some of the richest people I know have little to show in the only ledger the world counts, and are wealthy beyond measure in the one that lasts. Do not let the world's ledger be the only one you read your life by. And consider what your years of hard labor have made of you, because that, too, is fruit the world does not count. The perseverance that did not quit when quitting would have been easier. The humility of a person who has known struggle and so is gentle with others who struggle. The depth that suffering carves into a soul. The kind of depth the comfortable never develop. The faith that learned to lean on me precisely because there was nothing else left to lean on. You have been so focused on what your labor did not produce in your bank account that you have not noticed what it has produced in you. A character that is worth more than any sum the world's ledger could hold, and that will outlast every dollar you ever earned or failed to earn. The hard road did not only cost you, it was also, in my hands, making you into someone, and that someone is the truest harvest of all. And bring me the work itself, and ask me to make it count. There is a prayer that Moses prayed, a tired man leading a tired people through a wilderness. And I want to give it to you to pray over your own labor. Establish thou the work of our hands upon us. Yea, the work of our hands, establish thou it. It is a prayer that asks me to take the work that feels like it amounts to nothing and give it permanence. Make it matter. Weave it into something that lasts. Pray that over your labor, my child. Hand me the work of your hands, and ask me to establish it. And watch how differently it feels to labor for a God who can make even the smallest, most unseen work eternal. And if the weariness has gone so deep that it has become despair, my child, if you have begun to feel that you cannot go on, that the exhaustion is more than you can bear, then please do not push through that alone. That is not a load to carry in silence. Tell someone you trust, your church, a person who loves you, a doctor who can help, and let them carry some of it with you. There is no shame in being this tired. There is only the need to not be alone in it. Reaching for help when you are at the end of your strength is not weakness. It is wisdom, and it is what I would have you do. If these words have reached the worn-out place in you tonight, do not sit alone with the weariness the way you have for so long. You do not have to explain your whole situation. Just write 2 words below: I'm tired. Say it plainly, to me and to the others here, a whole gathering of people who have been laboring hard for so little and are weary to the bone. And let yourselves be tired together and reminded together that you are seen. I read every one of those words, and I know the long labor behind each one. So lift your head, my weary child, and ease your grip on the work for just a moment longer. You have been the watchman who never sleeps, standing guard over your whole life, certain that if you closed your eyes for one moment, it would all fall apart. But there is a watchman who truly never sleeps, and it is not you, it is me. I am keeping the city. I am holding the walls. I am awake through every hour you cannot stay awake for. And because I am, you are allowed, at last, to rest. Your labor is not unseen. I watched every early morning. Your labor is not forgotten. It is kept in a ledger that does not empty. Your strength is not all you have to run on. Mine is yours for the leaning. And the building of your life was never yours to hold up alone. I have been building it the whole time, even on the days you could not see one stone laid. So put down the tools, my child. Stop eating the bread of sorrows. Let the striving go quiet, just for tonight, and lay the whole heavy weight of getting ahead into the hands of the one who has never grown tired and never will. You do not have to finish building tonight. You do not have to solve it, or get ahead, or carry the city through the dark. You only have to lie down and let go, and trust that the one who does not sleep is keeping watch. Close your eyes, my beloved. I am still building while you rest. I do not sleep so that you can. Let the weariness drain out of you into hands strong enough to hold what you cannot, and rise tomorrow not on your own spent strength, but on mine, which is new and deep, and will not run out, and will carry you the rest of the way home. You have spent so long believing that to stop, even for a moment, would be to let everything fall. So you never fully stopped. You carried the work into your evenings and your weekends and your sleepless nights, never able to set it down, because setting it down felt like danger. But hear me, it is safe to set it down now. not because the work does not matter, but because it is held, and you are held, by one who does not tire and does not sleep and does not drop what he is keeping. The walls will still stand if you stop watching them tonight. The city will still be there in the morning. I have it. I have you. You can let go. So lay it down, all of it. The whole exhausting weight you have been dragging for years. And let yourself be tired in the presence of the one who is not. You do not have to earn this rest. You do not have to finish first. You only have to lean the full weight of your weariness against me, and let me hold you up while you finally rest. Rest now, my tired one. The work will keep. I am keeping it, and I am keeping you.